What is going on, warriors and farmers of Tamaris? Welcome to the video. This is going to be the guide for the brand new hero in Call of Dragons. His name is ELIO. Overall hero capable of using every single troop type in the game. Today we're going to check out some nice talent trees, some recommendations, what you should be doing with this hero in the real PvP. If you're new here, be sure to like, share, subscribe, leave some comments down below. Let's get started. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we got a brand new toy in Call of Dragons. His name is ELIO, and you can get him by using some money. To unlock the hero, there is a legendary event going on. You click on the event and you're gonna see how much you have to spend to get the hero. So to buy the hero, you're gonna need like $4.99 US, which is gonna be a lot for some people. And here is some of the other bundles that are available with this hero. It goes all the way up to the maximum price and you get 75 tokens. I don't know if it's worth it, but that's going to be up to you. So this is how you can unlock the hero on your account. Now this hero has so many restrictions, even more restrictions than the awesome Selûne that was introduced a few months ago. A lot of people are hesitant on which hero to get in the game as of right now. This brand new hero has a lot of restrictions. Like almost all the skills are restricted to flying heroes, which means you're not going to get good value when you're using him with ground troops, but he's gonna be okay in some situations. So for most people, I think you're gonna get away with a 5151 Selûne. She's probably gonna be the better option for the majority of players. But when it comes to this brand new ELIO, you're gonna have to max him out in order to let him sting like a bee. So for today, we're going to check out his skills and see everything that you need to know about this new addition into Call of Dragons. Let us get this video started. We're going to go over the skills and see everything that we need to know. The hero is overall PvP mobility. We're getting something new, which is pretty good. The rage skill is known as the backup plan. Rage costs 1000, attack range very far. Deals 2 instances of damage to the target legion every second for 3 seconds. Damage factor 400 each time. While this skill is active, the hero's legion cannot be obstructed and gains 10% march speed. So you're looking at 400 damage 2 times for 3 seconds, which is 400 damage 6 times, giving you a total of 2400 damage factor, which is massive. This is a lot, guys. It's on par with heroes like this new lady right here known as Myra. She can also hit for 2400 damage. So this is the standards for the G6 heroes. This is a lot of damage, guys. And the good thing is it's going to happen over 3 seconds and you do this one like 6 times, which means when you have someone like Selûne as a primary with the hero skill tree, you have the chance to crit some of this 400 damage, making you do some good stuff in open field combat. It is pretty nice. We move on to the second skill known as the drifting cloud. This is where things starts to get interesting. There are so many restrictions with this hero. So many ground troops are not going to be able to use him properly. Now second skill, drifting cloud. When leading a flying legion, the legion gains aerial. When located in an area that ground legions cannot reach, legions with aerial deal 10% more damage to ground legions. So if you are above the ground, like on top of the river or on top of the mountain, you're going to gain this aerial ability and you're going to be doing up to 30% additional damage. So what does aerial say? The hero's legion cannot be hit with normal attacks from melee ground legions and cannot launch counter attacks against melee ground legions. That is pretty much straightforward. You cannot launch counter attack if no one is hitting you with a normal attack. And then the second part also says when the hero's legion is hit with a normal attack from a ranged ground legion, the enemy has a 10% chance to miss. The hero's legion cannot launch counter attacks against ranged ground legions. So this thing looks a little bit complicated. Let's try and make it simple. So if someone who is ranged hits you from the ground and that person misses, you won't be launching a counter attack towards them. In this game, the rule is pretty simple. If someone hits you with a normal attack, you are automatically going to launch a counter attack. But in this case, if they miss you with their normal attack, you won't be able to launch any counter attack against them. I think this is what the devs mean, unless I am mistaken. Continuing with the second skill, this hero is complicated 100%. Now we're going to go to the awakening. The awakening says when leading a flying legion while backup plan is active, the legion gains aerial. So now if you awaken this hero and you cast your rage skill, which takes place for 3 seconds, you're automatically going to get this without needing to be on a high ground. So this is the good thing about this hero. That is why you need to max him out in order to maximize the output of this second skill. And the downside is that you're only going to get this 30% for the 3 seconds that the rage skill is active, provided you're not on top of the mountain or on top of a river. So this is kind of a bummer. It would have been nice if it was going to be permanent. You can get this permanent if you're on top of the river or on top of the mountain, but if you're not, your awakening is going to allow you to get this 30% damage dealt for the 3-second duration of the rage skill. And then when you're on top of the river, you're going to get it permanent and you're going to get extra buffs, which is 20% more damage and 10% more might speed. Plus this skill only lets you do damage to ground legions. So if there are other flying legions around, you won't be able to utilize this skill against them. So this hero is very, very complicated, but he's good. We're going to move on to skill number 3, breaking new grounds. Increases legion attack by up to 20%, which is pretty nice. And then the flying restrictions begin. Increases skill damage dealt by 15% when leading flying magic legions, up to 30%. Increases all damage dealt by 25% when leading marksman legions. So this is going to be nice. Ignores up to 30% of enemy attack when leading flying cavalry legions. So this one is not too impressive, but it's better than nothing. And then when we go on to the awakening, very long and complicated. Let's make it simple. Everybody gets 10% march speed and everybody gets 15% HP bypass. And then the flying restrictions begin to come in. If you're leading a flying legions and you're marching, you're going to get 1.5% march speed every second. When you hit 15% march speed, you're going to gain this Cloud Piercer's mark and you should be able to do 800 damage to the enemy. And you're also going to get extra HP bypass of 15%, making it up to 30% HP bypass. So when you're fighting your enemies in open field combat, you just need to be on the move. Just play your game as usual. Don't try to move a lot and not attack your enemies just because you want to get this 800 damage factor. When you're fighting your enemies, you're going to be moving back and forth, chasing them, changing position. You should be able to get this damage every now and then, which is a good addition. On top of that, you already have 2400 damage factor over here. So this is an okay skill. So it looks like we've covered everything that we need to see from here. This hero is very complicated. I don't know what to feel about him, but I think I'm going to be maxing him out because I need all the flying legions I can get in this game. Plus this hero is going to be part of the mage meta, so that's going to be awesome. Let us check out some of the best pairings that you can use for this brand new hero. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let us check out some of the best pairings for ELIO in Call of Dragons. The first one is going to be Selûne. Selûne is going to work with ELIO for all the different troop types. We're talking the Wyvern Riders, the Forest Eagles, and the Celestials. She is going to be cooking enemies. You can also pair up ELIO with some of the other heroes in the game. I don't know if they are going to be performing very well because you're going to miss out on so much. Like if you try to pair up this hero with ground troops, you're going to get the rage skill. You're going to get only 20% attack from here, and you're going to get 10% march speed and 15% HP bypass, and that's pretty much it. I think that could really do some good stuff with ground troops. So what are some of the options that you have for the ground troops? You can try this ELIO behind Verdun to just see how he works. It could turn out into something. You just have to try it out. You can try ELIO with some of the other marches in the game. You got the likes of Bahorn if you want to use a full flying march to see how that's going to perform. You can try the Thea to see how she's going to work. You can try Bertrand as well to see what is going to happen if you put them together. The hero has so many restrictions. I don't know why the devs did this. But if you want like a low investment, I think you should go with 5151 Seluna. She's going to be the better option in terms of low investment. When it comes to Elio, you are going to have to max him out. The one thing that I like with Elio is that he's going to be fantastic with the Wyvern Riders. Even though he doesn't get a lot of good stuff from the third skill, this fourth skill is going to be super awesome with Elio because the Forest Eagles can really fly fast and they can go from one place to the next, so they are always mobile, which means you will be getting this 800 damage factor a lot when you fly from one target to the next. So this is going to be awesome with the Forest Eagles. The Wyvern Riders are also going to be doing okay with this hero. You got lots of damage dealt, which is absolutely fantastic for the open field combat. Now there is one thing that I'm going to be trying with this lineup, which is going to be this one right here. We go multi-create, we go number 10. It's going to be with this lineup for Urag and Seluna. I'm going to be switching it. So this is what's going to be happening. I'm going to be putting Elio over here and I'm flipping it. And I will be putting this artifact, aka the Wolf Howl Horn. And then over here, we're going to put the Warpet that I use with this lineup. It's going to be this Warpet right here. Now, why am I pairing these two heroes together? Because we got 2400 damage factor, which is absolutely fantastic. We're going to miss out on the second skill. From here, we're going to get 20% attack, which is good. And then from here, we're going to get 10% march speed and then 15% HP bypass. If you look at Urag, Urag has 10% HP bypass. So they combine to give you like 25% HP bypass, which is pretty good. Plus with this hero, you're going to be having the mobility tree to use the victory rush and get that 250 hero skill damage when the enemy units drop to below 50%. Another good thing is that this artifact has a 22% defense, so you are covered in that department. I feel like this is going to be a nice one to have. So be on the lookout for that. In terms of different lineups, things are going to be changing. For the mages, we're going to have something that looks like this. We're going to have Elio over here, and this is going to look fantastic. Somebody is going to be vacating the premises. The lineup could also look a little something like this, with Lilia getting thrown out and then Elio taking over. Where is he? So many redheads here. Elio, okay, you probably saw him already. Okay, so Elio gonna go over here with the Celestials, and this could be the 5 March Mage lineup. We just have to test and find out. So don't try to jump on this hero as fast as possible. Let the guinea pigs test him out because you don't want to regret your investments later on. When it comes to the archers, same thing. Elio is gonna be fitting in over here. You drop him over there, and I think that's gonna be good to go. When it comes to artifacts, you have a lot of options. So let us bring out this lineup. For mages, you're gonna use the Mirage Orb. This artifact is gonna be doing some crazy stuff with all the damage dealt that you get from these two pairings. It is gonna be absolutely brilliant. When it comes to the archers, you can use maybe this one right here if you got Freyga behind, or you can use the Rattle Spear. Depending on which artifact you have, it's gonna be nice. In terms of the cavalry, we're gonna be getting the G6 cavalry pretty soon. So one of these awesome artifacts is going to remain behind. You can use one of them for your lineup. Depending on who you drop from your lineup, that artifact is gonna be working well with this flying hero. So that's going to be awesome. In terms of the Warpet, you can use the Seraphic Frederick for the mages, or you can go with the Shadow Frederick that gives you extra damage dealt for this Warpet. This is going to be a brilliant pet to use with this lineup. You also got the Sapphire Frederick to use. Sapphire Frederick is still a fantastic Warpet in the game. And for the archers, you got two options. You can use this Night Rock, or nope, you don't even need to try the Snow Peak Rock because it's not going to work. So you can use the Night Rock, and that's going to be awesome. For the flying cavalry, you don't have a lot of options. You will just have to get creative with the two pets that we have for the flying cavalries in the game. Like the Berserk Frederick, maybe you're going to put Interruption, and then, oh yeah, Berserk Frederick is going to work fantastic with Ferondil. What am I even thinking? Did I even mention this pairing with Ferondil? Oh boy, I totally forgot. And then over here, you can use these other pets as well. You just have to design it properly, maybe remove the exuberance, and then use the fierce attack package with the chain strike. Who knows? That could be doing some good stuff. So yeah, this is going to be the pets for the flying cavalry. Final topic of the video is going to be the talent tree. You might have to use this hero as the deputy because you're going to have some nice primary heroes. The only problem is that this hero is going to be very fast if you put him as the primary, especially with your other flying units. You're going to be getting up to like 45% additional march speed, which is a lot for some people. So yeah, he's going to be the deputy in most of the lineups. In terms of the talent tree, I think you should build it with the mobility talent tree because of this victory rush skill. This skill is going to be awesome for all the different troop type, especially the mages. Every time the enemy units dropped below 50%, you get 250 damage. And when you fight with mages, this is going to be something that happens a lot. So you're going to be doing some crazy stuff with this victory rush. I cannot wait to see how this is going to perform on the mages. Along the way, you grab some of the good stuff. You're going to get preemptive preparation, 10% additional attack when you enter battle. This is going to be nice. And then you come to the PvP tree, you grab this Army of Valor, which gives you more damage dealt. So this is going to be awesome. So yeah, this would be the talent tree that I recommend for the mobility. In terms of the cavalry, this is the talent tree that I'm also going to be using. Remember, I mentioned that I was going to be using this hero with Urag. I just need to grab this 10% march speed and this 10% march speed. This 1 point that I have left is going to go over here and my mission is complete in terms of Urag in the open field for around maybe 58% additional march speed because I like moving fast. So this is going to be what I do for my Urag. Another talent tree to try is one that looks a little something like this. You go in all the directions. I think this talent tree could be good with the archer troop type, especially if you want to use this hero as the primary. There's going to be a lot of march speed. Maybe if you don't want more march speed, you can just take it out from here. And I think this should be okay, but this hero is going to be good as a deputy. The 1 point we have left, we're going to drop it over here to get more damage dealt. From this talent tree, you got like 4% normal attack damage. You got 5% normal attack damage. You got hero skill damage boost, hero skill damage boost. You got 10% attack when you enter battle. You got 2% additional attack. You got 2% additional attack. So this is looking pretty good. You got 1% damage dealt that goes all the way up to 3%. And you got 0.3% additional damage dealt. This could be a little something that could work for some people. To conclude everything, Elio is a fantastic flying hero to be added into Call of Dragons. The only problem is that he is very complicated. He's not going to be the hero for everyone, but if you want something that's gonna punch hard, this hero is going to be the solution. I expect him to be part of the best 5 mage marches in the game, even the best 5 archer march in the game, but it's gonna be up to you to invest. Remember, if you want to get the best out of this hero, you are going to have to max him out. If you want something simple, then you should go with the 5-1-5-1 Seluna and you have something simple that's going to work a lot. So yeah, this hero is going to be pretty good. One of the downside is that with the Forest Eagles, you don't get a lot of good stuff from here. However, skill number 4 is going to be excellent with the Forest Eagles, especially when you're moving up and down all the time, hunting and just smacking people, running away, then coming back and repeating it. This is going to be a pretty good skill to have on the Forest Eagles. Now, when it comes to the archers, you got additional 25% damage dealt from here. This is going to be awesome. Remember, guys, you need to max this hero out. Either you max him out or you just ignore. I think that's the way to go. I don't know if 5151 is going to be okay, but we are going to have to find out. I have about 380 tokens. I might be using all of it on this hero to try and max him out as fast as possible. We're going to see how it goes in the next few days. I will be testing him out next season to see where he fits the best. So for most people, you need to be patient, wait for others to test it out and just see how it goes. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new, subscribe for more content. Until then, we shall meet again in the next video. Bye bye for now.